Roger Federer had every reason to fade into luxury, but in 2025, he's stealing the spotlight again with swagger as Dad of the Year, hot espresso in hand, and a masterclass in the ultimate Swiss lifestyle. Safe to say, he is the richest and most adored athlete of all time. Roger Federer has never let notoriety alter his foundation. He is not one to seek plenty of attention, flashes from the paparazzi, or fill Instagram with ostentatious parties and opulent photographs. He has instead embraced a life of simplicity and purpose, grounded in the peaceful Swiss Alps where family and simplicity take front stage. Whether it be trekking mountain paths, sipping a silent espresso, or just being dad to his 4 children, Federer's current life is a masterclass in understated elegance and balance. Federer's quiet strength wasn't only his serve or backhand, it was Mirka. A former pro herself, she sacrificed her career after injury to stand at his side. His confidant, his strategist, his anchor. Their 2009 wedding in Basel was intimate, just family and friends. And yet, their love story has been grander than any championship. Federer once admitted his best day wasn't winning Wimbledon, it was meeting her. Federer maintained uncompromising humility even at the height of his career, when millions of eyes followed every movement. Though he was still the Basel boy who hated losing, he appreciated the beauty of the game even more. That strong love resulted in 20 Grand Slam crowns and a career that changed the definition of tennis perfection. Still, what kept him grounded all these years? The response is Mirka. Since the 2000 Sydney Olympics, his wife herself, formerly a professional tennis player, has been by his side, almost 25 years of continuous marriage. Together, they have created a life wherein the spotlight fades and what counts trust, family, and the silent moments that generate long happiness rises. What's harder than facing champions on the court like Nadal, Djokovic, or Murray? Raising 2 sets of twins, Mila and Charlene in 2009, Leo and Lenny in 2014. Federer calls them a miracle, but he jokes they're tougher opponents than anyone he's met across the net. From homework negotiations to backyard tennis battles, Federer's most meaningful victories now happen off-court. His patience and grace, once his competitive weapons, are now the pillars of his fatherhood. Time to move on to much of the life that this superstar has after tennis, and what led to him departing from the high level of the sport. We all know that he is still a beast with a racket in his hand, but retirement was a path he was always destined to take from the sport. Now he's living the ultimate life. Federer's final goodbye? It wasn't just a retirement, it was a global crescendo. Tears streamed as Nadal clasped his hand, the 2 titans of an era breaking the boundary between rivalry and brotherhood. London's O2 Arena became a cathedral that night. Applause thundered not for a trophy, but for a man who had turned tennis into art. It was less a farewell and more a coronation, Federer stepping gracefully into immortality. And yet, for Roger, that moment wasn't the peak. It was the prologue to something greater. Retirement wasn't a descent into silence, it was a sunrise. He didn't crave commentary booths or endless victory laps. Instead, Federer shifted his genius from court to culture. As a major investor in On Running, the Swiss performance brand sweeping the world, he shaped sneakers into symbols of sleek minimalism, mirroring his game: light, precise, unstoppable. When Federer walks into a fashion show in Paris or Milan, it isn't as a guest, it's as a partner, a designer, a force. His initials, RF, remain not just a logo, but a signature of elegance stamped across sport, style, and legacy. But the truest stage Federer claims today isn't fashion weeks or investor meetings. It's the classrooms of Africa, the villages of Malawi, the schools of Zambia. Through the Roger Federer Foundation, he has committed nearly $50 million to children's education. He doesn't just cut checks, he travels, he listens, he builds. Teachers speak of him not as a celebrity benefactor, but as a man genuinely invested in their success. His motto, empowering through education, isn't branding, it's conviction. For Federer, a child opening a book in a rural village is as meaningful as a championship point at Wimbledon. And then, there's the Federer we rarely see. The father making breakfast, the husband enjoying coffee with Mirka by Lake Zurich, the neighbor who blends into the rhythm of Swiss life. He plays casual tennis matches not to win, but to feel. He laces up sneakers not for training, but for joy. This is Federer's greatest pivot. He proved that legacy isn't frozen in trophies, it's alive, breathing, expanding into every arena he touches. On court, he was elegance. Off court, he became purpose. Federer's story is no longer about tennis, it's about how greatness doesn't end. It evolves, grows, and, if you're Roger Federer, it lights the world far beyond the stadium. Now back to the flashy lifestyle, because we cannot ignore it. Here is some insight on Federer's real estate portfolio. Federer's home mirrors his philosophy. Not a flashy Beverly Hills mansion, but a tranquil villa on Lake Zurich. And this would be the ultimate place for a European getaway? Minimalist wood interiors, an infinity pool melting into the horizon, a private court, and beneath it all, a garage filled with his curated Mercedes collection. Not loud, not gaudy, just timeless, like his backhand. Every detail whispers balance, precision, and understated luxury. Did we mention his fancy cars too? Want a G-Wagon? He's got it. Want another luxury car? Chances are it's in his collection. Let's explore. From the elegant S-Class to the rugged G-Wagon, Federer's garage is a reflection of him, power wrapped in class. His endorsements too have been legendary. Rolex, Mercedes-Benz, Moet, and Chandon, Wilson, and that historic $300 million Uniqlo deal. Forbes once crowned him the perfect brand ambassador. Not because he chases checks, but because he only partners where values align. His wealth, north of $600 million, is not just earnings, it's curation, strategy, legacy. Now, back to reputation and grace. Federer is no stranger. In a world where athletes crash under headlines, Federer stood almost spotless. The draw favoring whispers at Wimbledon? They never stuck. The critiques of staying apolitical? He simply said, "I'm a tennis player, not a politician." His silence was its own radical statement. But where he truly spoke was through his foundation, impacting 2 million children through education in Africa and Switzerland. To Federer, changing classrooms mattered more than changing scoreboards. All in all, this dude is an absolute legend, and it's clear why people support him all over the globe. Retirement for Federer hasn't been a sunset, it's a sunrise. He no longer chases trophies. Now, he runs toward purpose, peace, and joy, living life not by rankings, but by his rhythm. Look, Federer's greatness? It wasn't just about stacking trophies like Pokemon cards, he changed the whole vibe of tennis. He made it look, I don't know, too easy. That backhand? Pure sorcery. The footwork? Like he was gliding on melted butter. He didn't just win, he turned matches into art. Fans lost their minds, rivals just shook their heads, probably muttering, "How the hell?" under their breath. And suddenly, every kid with a racket was trying to copy Roger's moves in their driveway. Fast forward to 2025, people aren't just remembering Federer, they're carving his face into the Mount Rushmore of tennis. Nadal, Djokovic, even the new generation like Alcaraz, they all say it. There was tennis before Roger and tennis after Roger. That's it. That's the tweet. And it wasn't just about what he did with a racket. The man had grace. No tantrums, no shattered rackets, no ego storms. Just chill, class, and effortless style. He's the blueprint not just for tennis nerds, but for anyone chasing greatness without becoming a jerk. If you're vibing with this deep dive into Federer's world, smash that like button, drop a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Catch you in the next one.